Broadcasting from Park Avenue West, you're watching WMFD Television, Channel 68.1, Mansfield.
This program discusses sensitive mental health issues, including suicide. Viewer discretion is advised.
I realized in that moment how important it was to have resources at the younger age, because if I would have learned how to cope better, if I would have learned how to manage, my own thoughts and my feelings, maybe it would have helped me later on in life as well.
Maybe an hour after we got the message that we lost Danny, Danny's sister said to us, we were all crying, and she says, "What do we do? What do we tell people?" And I'm like, "Baby, we got to tell them the truth. This is nothing that can be hidden, because otherwise the suicide will win."
We're not mental health professionals. This is just something that happened to our family. We direct people other places. And most important of all, I think, don't quit. Keep fighting. Keep living. Things will get better.
Good evening and welcome to Sparking the Conversation. We are 33 Forever. I'm Donna Heck. I'm with my husband, Jeff Heck, and we are so excited to be able to bring you weekly half-hour messages, stories, and resources surrounding mental health topics and challenges. Now, this show's purpose and hope is to provide both information and inspiration, making conversations about mental health the norm.
Autumn Kessler is the founder of Whole Child, Whole Health, a social initiative aimed to help youth with their mental health. Autumn is also the current Miss Portsmouth through the Miss Ohio Scholarship Program and the Miss America organization. Autumn, welcome to Sparking the Conversation. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're excited that you're here, and we're excited that Miss Ohio Week is here. And how do you feel? Miss Ohio back after a year's hiatus, and you've been Miss Portsmouth for a couple of years now because of the COVID pandemic, right?
Yeah, it's been amazing to finally get reunited with everyone. I mean, we always say Miss Ohio is a big family, and taking that much time away from your loved ones is kind of really hard. So long overdue. Super excited to get this week started and to see everyone in person finally.
Welcome back to Mansfield.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
We are very grateful that you're here, and we'd like to talk just a little bit about why we brought you on the show, aside from being an absolutely beautiful, amazing young woman. But you have a platform that you started, as well as an organization for mental health.
Yes, so the Miss Ohio Scholarship Program and the Miss America organization encourages the participants to do their heart's work, to kind of advocate for something that they're passionate about. And after many years kind of sitting on the sidelines and advocating for other people, I made the decision after winning Miss Portsmouth to tell my story. And that eventually led me into founding Whole Child, Whole Health, which is an initiative just aimed at kind of sparking the conversation and starting to talk about children's mental health, since that's really a population that we don't really cater to and we don't really think about with mental health. So it's about getting them resources and kind of, like I said, just getting the conversation going about, what we could do for them.
So tell us a little bit more about that platform or that program, if you will. Tell us about what it's geared toward with the kids.
Yeah, so one of my main goals when I first started it was to be able to go into schools and to talk with not only the school population and the students, but also with the teachers, and kind of help them to understand a little bit better how mental health manifests in children, and how it doesn't always start with, oh, I don't feel good today. It's my head hurts, my stomach hurts. They're not equipped like we are with the verbiage to be able to communicate as well. So that was kind of my initial goal, but pandemic hit, so that kind of got put on hold, and I geared my focus over the shift of quarantine during the pandemic to providing online resources. So working out of Nationwide Children's Hospital, their On Our Sleeves movement, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, all these different organizations that are affecting Ohio, and taking these huge articles that they have and condensing them down, so that way the students, the parents who are now acting as teachers, can all have the ability to read them without taking up all the vital time that they had in that very, very challenging time that they had at home. So I condensed that all down and put that up on my website, autumnkessler.com, for people to see.
Yes, that is a very impressive website, autumnkessler.com. There's all kinds of help and resources and ideas. And you mentioned and touched on something about as a child that you struggled with perhaps bullying. I don't know if you want to share a little bit of that.
Yeah, so when I was 7 years old, my parents divorced. And while that was kind of tough, it didn't really affect me until the age of 10 when my father committed a serious crime. He ended up in prison, and I found out by watching the news with my mom. And talk about your world being turned upside down. Like, was not prepared for it. I was very ashamed since I carried his last name. And coming from a small rural town, like, that stuff like that doesn't happen. So people chose sides, adults and children alike, targeted me at 10 years old, bullied me severely as a result of it. And because it was him that got into trouble, the resources were only offered to him. I didn't have anything at the age of 10, and while my mom and my grandma tried their best to provide me with as normal of a life as possible, it still was something that I greatly missed out on. And I didn't realize the impact that that had until I started to get older. And even when I got into college, I started to struggle like many college students do with my mental health. And I was a resident assistant on campus, so it was a demanding job, and I was responding to other people's mental health situations. And I realized in that moment how important it was to have resources at the younger age, because if I would have learned how to cope better, if I would have learned how to manage, my own thoughts and my feelings, maybe it would have helped me later on in life as well. So that's definitely, my personal aspect of why I started it, but it's just a small piece of like why I want to do what I do.
It's interesting. You were talking about your college experience, and as a resident advisor, a resident assistant, I guess, you're dealing with other people's mental health challenges. You're probably one of, I don't know, for lack of a better term, a first responder to some of those things that are happening in dormitories and other living arrangements. And so you were not only maybe dealing with some of your own stuff, but you were then having to figure out how to deal with somebody else's.
Yeah, it was, my title last year was Miss Capital City, and the night that I had actually won that, I was up until 4 a.m. because I was the first one to respond to a mental health situation on campus. And being in a small rural campus college town, we did not have the resources either. I mean, we only had 2 counselors to serve the entire student population that was living on campus. And somehow I managed to win that night and go on and, be able to compete for Miss Ohio. But that really started a year of, figuring out what I could do in the now on campus rather than just waiting for the next big thing to happen.
Right. We need to hold this thought and take just a minute break on WMFD. We will be right back.
Hi, I'm Joe Trollian, the Executive Director for the Richland County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board. Addiction to drugs and alcohol create a personal struggle as well as impact those around you. You are not alone. We have many professionals and organizations who care. Reach out for help today. Know it before you need it. Visit Know It, the letter B, the number 4, the letter U, needit.com.
Brought to you by the Richland County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board, growing and preserving a legacy of hope and success within our community.
33 Forever was founded by the family and friends of Danielle Leedy.
Our amazing daughter, who was a vibrant, strong, professional young woman, lost a long battle to chronic depression in February of 2019.
33 Forever was created to both honor Danny's life, as well as her longtime passion to raise awareness and empower those struggling with depression, anxiety, self-worth, and suicidal thoughts.
Visit our website to learn more. We are 33 Forever.
Hi, I'm Dr. Andrew Warden, board-certified plastic surgeon and host of The Doctors. If you've tried every fad diet and extreme workout and still struggle with stubborn body fat, then it's time you call Sono Bello. I've personally performed thousands of body fat removal procedures, and the results I've seen achieved by the highly skilled experts at Sono Bello are truly outstanding.
Sono Bello's board-certified surgeons use micro-laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells permanently. Eliminate fat on your stomach, thighs, and back. Schedule your free, no-obligation consultation and find out how you can get $250 off instantly. That's $250 off your stomach, back, even your thighs.
With Sono Bello, you can permanently remove stubborn fat and in just one visit.
Call 1-888-415-6548 or go to sonobello.com.
This program discusses sensitive mental health issues, including suicide. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Sparking the Conversation. We are here this evening with Miss Portsmouth, Autumn Kessler. Autumn, you've been sharing such amazing things with us about your college days. Why don't you go ahead and share how it came about that you were a child and you were having these issues, but you ended up having to find a way, an outlet, so you could be able to succeed in life?
Yeah, so my grandma was like stereotypical grandmother. She was like, I have the prettiest little grandbaby. And so she put me in a pageant at a mall and like literally thought nothing of it. I ended up winning and getting a bid to that state level. So we went there, we saved up money. She would put together little cookie baskets and she would make these like hand-painted chocolates around Easter time and she would sell them, and that's how we paid to be able to go. And we made a lot of friends. We got some really close family, well, what we consider family out of it. And it just kind of became a really good tradition that we had every year. And once stuff started falling apart in my life, that was the one thing that she was like, we're gonna keep doing this. We gotta keep doing this. So when my parents divorced, my dad actually ended up leaving while we were at the competition. So at least I didn't have to go through the whole separation process, watch him pack, take everything and stuff. So it kind of became like my saving grace. And while I absolutely loved it, I definitely wanted to pursue other things as well. And so she made sure I had vocal lessons. She made sure that I got to go to dance class in case I did ever want to become Miss America. I had a talent now to do it. And so once she passed away when I was in high school, I knew that it just wouldn't be the same without her. So I stopped competing in that state level competition. Kind of took a couple years hiatus. I did one competition with the Ohio State Fair that year and I ended up winning. So kind of got my feet wet again, but definitely wasn't something that, you know, I would ever return back to, the one that I did with her, because it just wouldn't be the same. And I knew come my senior year of high school I needed scholarship because it was only my mom. She was the sole income provider of our household. I didn't have a car yet because we couldn't afford to get me a car, so that's that double-edged sword of I couldn't work, I couldn't help, and so it was a really difficult time, and she actually ended up working one of the weekends, and there was a Miss Ohio local competition in Columbus. A family friend of ours took me. And so that was kind of how I got my feet wet within the Miss Ohio program and showed up and I was like, I'm a senior in high school, and the girl next to me is like, yeah, I'm in medical school. And the other girl was like, yeah, I passed the bar exam this week. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like what did I get myself into? But they were so nurturing and like so loving and so welcoming. And that wasn't something that I had experienced in like that capacity because everyone judged me based off of my last name.
Because this truly became your family, truly became a way for you to grow as a person and to probably start to heal.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to be accepted for who I was and not because of what my dad had done or the struggles that I had faced, being able to go into a room that nobody knew me was the biggest blessing ever. And it was kind of weird because I was like, yeah, I'm on stage, like there's a lot of people looking at me, but I also felt so invisible and like I fit in for once in my life rather than standing out. And now years later I'm sitting here on TV, so like standing out may not have been a bad thing ultimately, but for the time being, it was one of the most therapeutic things because I was able to be me and not have all these bad things connected to me.
And obviously you had some levels of success because you won, you got some scholarship money, you were able to attend college,
yes.
Which wasn't necessarily in the plan at that point.
Yeah, so I knew that based off of my academics, I had enough to pursue at least one semester of college. So I did, and then that second semester is when I actually went to Portsmouth for the first time and competed at Miss Portsmouth. And I felt a little bit more confident because I had, you know, a semester of college under my belt. Yeah, I fell flat on my butt during the talent competition. It was one of those, my feet went out from underneath me and I went, oh!
Oh, you literally
Everybody
fell.
went, oh! And I was just like, oh my gosh. And so I started laughing like hysterically at myself on stage. Couldn't hold it together. And again, was absolutely shocked at the amount of people that came up to me and they were like, you did so well, like despite that, like you held your own. They wanted me to come back and compete again. And it was that March that I ended up winning my first title, and it was here in Mansfield actually. So I kind of got a little bit of glimpse because all the Miss Ohio people were around, and it really was the first sense of family that I had. Big family, not just my mom and my grandma. So it was truly a blessing. Like, I had big black marks down the white sash that year when I won because I just started sobbing immediately because I knew what I was getting into. And then once I went to Miss Ohio that year, it completely changed my life because I was like, I was accepted. I had this ability to speak on what I wanted to and use my voice rather than having it silenced because people didn't believe in me or didn't believe in my family and like our choices. And it became one of the most incredible things that could have happened in my life because I was, like I said, had that family, I had the encouragement, I had the support.
So this is a great place for us to take a break because we want to then talk about how that has also segued into your professional life. So
Yes.
let's do that when we come back. We're going to take another break, hear from Sparking the Conversation. We'll be back in a minute.
Catalyst Life Services, a comprehensive behavioral health organization, has been serving the community for 70 years. Our wide array of wraparound services and our ability to treat the whole person is what sets us apart. It's everything you need in one place: mental health, crisis, detox and addiction services, case management, and peer recovery support. We even offer vocational programming to get you back to work. Catalyst Life Services. Call today and get the help you need.
Frozen, yet a Coke. Not a solid, but not a liquid. They're a paradox of deliciousness.
Beat the heat with a refreshingly cool Minute Maid slushie or a frozen Coke.
We all know that movement is like medicine, but getting the movement you need to feel better can be a challenge. Now you can keep fit while you sit with QB, the world's leading compact seated elliptical. QB gives you active sitting, letting you burn calories and keep moving in an easy and low-impact way, all while you work, read, or watch TV. QB was named a top 10 gift by Time Magazine and has been featured all over the world. It's whisper quiet while it works your abs and core, hip flexors, glutes, quads, hamstrings, and calves.
QB is a lifesaver for me. Here's your answer to your problem.
I feel young again.
Join the hundreds of thousands of people moving more with QB. Call to find out how to get your QB with free shipping and a 30-day completely risk-free trial. You'll also get this QB workout mat free. Now keep fit while you sit with QB.
To order, call 800-289-5820. That's 800-289-5820. Call now.
Stay up to date with the latest on the WMFD Facebook page. Whether it's breaking news, sports, contest, or even live updates, we've got something for you. Like us at facebook.com/WMFD-TV.
Welcome back to Sparking the Conversation. We're here with Autumn Kessler, Miss Portsmouth and Miss Ohio candidate this week. And it's coming up. It's an exciting week for you, I'm sure.
It is. It's been a long time coming, like we said. It's been a good year and a half wait for a lot of us, but I'm so excited.
Well, I'm sure you'll do well this week. The thing we were talking about when we took a break was how really your interest in mental health, your own experiences in mental health have kind of led you to what you're doing professionally right now, too. So tell the audience, if you would, about that.
Yeah, so I always knew I wanted to be involved in healthcare in some aspect. I started out in the nursing course, fought that for years because I was like, I'm not going to be the person that gives up. Well, I kind of realized with the help of Miss Ohio and the partnership that we used to have with Children's Miracle Network hospitals that I was very good on like the mental health side of it and the marketing and the events side of it, because when you have a crown on your head, you get to be a part of those things. So I kind of looked for opportunities like that after I had graduated and wanted to pursue my MBA because I wanted to help bridge the gap for a lot of donors between where their dollars are going and actually kind of like helping them to understand truly what happens when they donate. And throughout the course of that, I got connected with several nonprofit organizations, including Ohio's largest one, which is Ohio Guidestone for Mental Health. And it was throughout a little bit of a journey with them that I ended up being offered a position as a qualified behavioral health specialist. So now I kind of am very blessed because I get to do what I do with mental health on a professional level, on a personal level, and on a volunteer basis. So it kind of spans the course of my entire life, but it's one of the most rewarding things to be able to reach every single little aspect of that community.
One thing that I wanted to kind of share with the viewers, I was looking at the CDC website as we were preparing for tonight, and you were talking about the interest in kids, and we know the diagnoses of mental health concerns for kids are up. We know that it's the leading cause of death for children 10 to 14 is suicide. We know it's the second leading cause of death for young people from 10 to 34. So, and it's increased, I think the numbers are in the last 20 years, it's increased 33% suicide rates, that is. So it's obviously a critical part, and you're a critical spokesperson in that effort.
Yeah, and I still feel like I don't do enough, if I'm going to be completely honest, especially with the pandemic too. Like my love is being able to go into schools and be able to educate and have that community aspect of it. I said, you know, it's great that we pass legislation. It's so important that we get that out there. But it takes probably about a year to 2 years for that legislation to actually reach every single school, every single community within the state. And that's a large period of time then that we aren't helping individuals. So it's about not only preparing for the future, but what we can do now. And I feel like every single day that I wake up, I'm like, I can do more, I can do more. And if anybody knows me, they're sitting here like, you're fine. But it's still just that need to be able to help and to be able to, you know, give these kids a better future and hopefully, you know, allow them to overcome obstacles on their own and prepare them for that.
Well, your passion for mental health is so obvious. It's what really drew us to having you on our show. And I know on your website you have links for some resources as well as some amazing stories. Could you tell them about your website again, and what is the most important thought that you have to leave everybody with your story?
Yeah, so my website really was like a culmination of me. At the end of the day, I wanted to share about Miss Ohio because it was such an integral part of my life, and it led me to having the strength to be able to tell my story. But even further so, like, I have those resources on there, those condensed down versions of these big scholarly articles that make sense to the general person. And then I have all of MTV's Mental Health Action Day resources on there. I was super surprised and proud to be a founding partner of that for this year. So hopefully continuing with that after their inaugural year, so people can check that out. And then honestly, like, one of the other big things is the section that you can book me to come in. Oftentimes people don't know how to start the conversation with kids, and I have resources from pre-K clear through collegiate level that I have from my professional endeavors, and I also have from, you know, my personal and volunteer experiences too. So if that's something that, you know, educators, if there's colleges, anybody that's wanting that extra additional resource, that extra ear, that extra spokesperson, that's something that they could do. And they can just go on there, fill out a simple form, and it'll shoot me an email, and we can talk a little bit more about, even if I can't do it, maybe I know some people that then could come and help as well.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think the thing that we definitely want to make sure people understand is, and we've seen it with our own experiences, is the person who's got some relatability, and obviously as a young person you have relatability, but also you've got your own story, and you've had your own challenges, the overcoming that you've been able to do, and so that's going to resonate with the kids so much. So as you think about that and you think about the future, what do you think about as far as how we're doing, and is there hope out there for people who are having challenges?
I mean, if we look at where we were even 10 years ago, mental health wasn't talked about. So we're definitely going in the right direction. It's just taking a lot longer than what it honestly should. And it's terrifying to sit here and think about the fact that we won't have the numbers for the COVID aspect of mental health and that effect for another 2 years. And so right now, I think one of the biggest things is helping teachers to understand, you know, as these kids start to reintegrate into classroom environments, how can they better help their students prepare not only to lead physically healthy lives, but also mentally healthy ones. And it's about equipping them at a young age to be able to take care of both simultaneously. That way they can grow into be, doctors, lawyers, I say Miss Ohio because that's what I ended up coming into.
That is wonderful.
And yeah, that's just, I think one of the key aspects is starting them young, and hopefully we can all learn from each other and even learn from the kids at the adult level as well.
And that's a great place to leave it off. And we wish we had more time with you tonight, but we thank you for being here. We're going to take a break now, and we'll be back with our memory moment in just a minute. Sorry about that. I thought you told me I was going.
If we could say one thing to her, I think what we would let her know is how important she was to us.
And I wish that I hadn't been so reluctant to confront him.
Be a friend, listen to him, and get him help.
I am so glad someone reminded me that I'm worth it and will always be worth it.
I'm glad that I have people now that support what I want to do in my dream of helping other people.
Today, everyone is looking to save at the gas pump. $3 today, $2 tomorrow. That's why you need the Klein Home Exterior Pump Patrol to your cell. We'll send you the best gas prices from the cities of your choice. And best of all, it's free. To sign up, go to WMFD.com and click on the Klein Home Exterior Pump Patrol to your cell. Klein Home Exterior is Ohio's best Amish contractor. From roofing and siding to decks, windows, and more, Klein Home Exterior experts can do it all.
It's time to thrive outside. Spending time outside, like at an Ohio State park, is a natural way to boost your mental health. Just 15 minutes in nature can restore you, leaving you feeling refreshed. The parks are for everyone to enjoy. Visit detourtrails.ohiodnr.gov to connect to a trail near you. Need more help? Call the Ohio Care Line at 1-800-720-9616 for free emotional support.
Welcome back to Sparking the Conversation. We are at the point of the show where we talk about a memory moment, which would be something that had to do with Danny, something that would have to do with maybe her passions, her likes, or even something with 33.
Right.
Today, what do we want to talk about?
Well, so as many of you know, I'm sure this is Pride Month. And Danielle was a huge supporter of the Pride movement, and she was someone who really believed that equality is equality and love is love, and those are the things that were very important to her. So in honor of that tonight, I know you guys have already seen my socks, but let's check out what I decided to wear if you haven't already noticed them. So there are my socks.
They are bright and happy, and that's what we should all be, especially this month.
Yeah, they are. And so we're happy to celebrate that with her. And we've got a couple of pictures of Danny, or a picture of Danny, I think, and one of her sisters.
Yep. When Danny moved to D.C., her sister, Alex, and Danny went around the whole city and took pictures of things in the city. And they came across this wall, and Danny happened to have her Love is Love shirt on, which was absolutely perfect. So they took a picture of, Alex took a picture of Danny there, and then Danny switched and took a picture of Alex, who happened to be in her beautiful rainbow shirt that actually matched Jeff's socks. So we are proud of their stand. Danny had a passion for everybody and every opinion, and when I think of this month and I think of love, I truly think of Danny, because she was not partial to anybody special and just included everybody in her love.
Yeah, so that's our memory moment for tonight, and that's also this week's episode of Sparking the Conversation. We appreciate you so much being with us tonight, sharing the conversation with us, and we hope you'll tune in next week when we have another episode right here on WMFD.
Have a great evening.